I can name Kung Flu. I can name 19 different versions of names.
Again.
A person at the White House used the term Kung Flu. My question is, do you think that's wrong, Kung Flu? And do you think using the term Chinese virus, that puts Asian Americans at risk, that people might target that?
No, not at all. I think they probably would agree with it 100%. It comes from China. There's nothing not to agree. Okay, well, it comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate.
About Chinese Americans
please, John,
please. The AIDS behind you. Are you comfortable
I have
with
great.
this term?
I have great love for all of the people from our country, but.
So that takes us way back to the beginning of the pandemic when Donald Trump, to get applause from his racist audience at rallies, would use terms like China virus and Kung Flu. He wasn't the only one. Others in the White House started doing it. You saw it all over social media. They were actively trying to whip their base into a frenzy to hate people in China, Asian Americans. It's fun for them to do that. And you had some reporters who were standing up for that, saying, we've already seen a rise in the incidents of harassment and violence against Asian Americans. Maybe you should consider that. And his response was, no, they'd agree. Asian Americans want me to say Kung Flu. Well, look, we've talked about this along the way. We've seen the attacks, the mass shootings, the murders that were inspired by this. If you jump ahead to today, we are still seeing the effect of this sort of thing. When you question people, do you think that Asian Americans are more loyal to their country of origin than to the US? It has risen significantly in the recent past. Whether they're at least partially responsible for COVID-19 has doubled in that period. 21% of US adults now say that Asian Americans are at least partly responsible for COVID, up from 11% last year. By the way, that's not like people from China, that's Asian Americans. So if you are like Filipino American in Wisconsin, you're responsible. If you're Vietnamese American in Houston, you're partly responsible for what happened. It is utter madness, and a very significant chunk of the population, Viviana, thinks that's reasonable. They have come out of this experience with lingering resentment specific to COVID, and more generally, I think they have more loyalty to their country of origin. I don't even see what that has to do with the pandemic, but there is an increase in anti-Asian racism that has lingered now for a couple of years since the videos that we just showed people.
Yeah, the question about loyalty to their country of origin is right on target for xenophobia, which is something that this country has been really good at for many, many, many decades. Now, when you start separating Americans from other Americans, that's when the xenophobia really gets out of control. So we're still fighting this narrative that American is a blonde, blue-eyed, I don't know, I'm getting maybe Swedish background. I don't know what's allowed to be American, but usually it fits that sort of stereotype of blonde, blue-eyed, European descent American is more considered an American than an American who maybe 5 generations ago family came from Japan. We have seen atrocities done to Asian Americans in this country, within the last 100 years. Horrible stuff. Camps, taking of their land, their property, their money. I mean, ripping families apart. And then we see, this uptick in violent crimes against Asian Americans just walking around doing their normal daily life. And that kind of rhetoric from Trump's mouth really emboldened a lot of extremist right shock jocks. And even now, Fox News is really guilty of sort of perpetuating this xenophobia as well. It's a very, very dangerous tactic. It's not something that's new for politicians to use. It's been a staple of their toolbox for many, many years. So it is horrific that in an enlightened time that we would think that there's so many resources available to us. There's such a variety of people that make our country so great. You would really wonder how people are sort of falling into these old, really tired tropes about, Americans, because we come from all different walks of life, all different countries. So somebody's family came from China, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, and now you're responsible. It's just sick. It's very sad and very limited, the people that choose to believe that. And I have people in my own family who have used that same exact rhetoric that came out of Trump's mouth. Well, it came from China. It's a China virus. I mean, it's just stupidity. And these are people who have brains, who I consider critical thinkers. But yet, when you are told a lie, and this is the same thing Hitler did during his time, he repeated things and repeated things and repeated things, and it started to stick in people's brains. And we are weak. Human beings are weak. And if you start to hear things over and over again, it starts to make sense to you. And that's exactly what he did to the Jewish population during World War II, and how he got people up in a frenzy about the type of people they were. And Trump's doing the same exact thing. I'm not saying that he's Hitler, but it's a similar tactic.
You're not saying he's Hitler. JD Vance did say that he was America's Hitler, so we'll just put that off on him. Yeah, 100%. And it's lingering. We're seeing this effect now for a couple of years. It's disgusting. It's irrational in literally every way. One additional layer of irrationality is that they can simultaneously despise like a random Korean American living in Kansas City for spreading a disease that they think isn't a serious thing and you shouldn't be worried about it. Isn't that crazy?
But let me say this, John,
because question you, they don't think it matters, and they don't think anything should be done to stop it from spreading. By the way,
let me bring this up because I have a background in entertainment as well, and I'm excited to see that so much Asian culture has permeated mainstream American popular culture. K-pop, anime, through the roof in popularity right now. I mean, movies, we had a Korean American movie that won an Oscar. So it's kind of like a battle, right? You have the 20% of Americans who are buying into the xenophobia. And then you have another, probably the majority of the country, kind of really embracing Asian culture, really, just kind of accepting it as, a norm, which is really how it should be. So I have faith that we are going to be able to see a change in that sort of mentality and that sort of sentiment towards Asian Americans. There's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.